was shot and died at the scene. Authorities say the boy attended a high school in the Kenosha Unified School District. 2 other people were injured in that shooting but are expected to survive. Police say they do have a 16-year-old boy and a 19-year-old man in custody. The search for Today host Savannah Guthrie's mother intensifying, with Savannah and her siblings posting a tearful video to social media overnight, pleading for the safe return of their mother. ABC's Aaron Katersky.
The sheriff here has said he believes that Nancy Guthrie is alive. He has offered no suspects, though, in connection with her disappearance. The video is an invitation to negotiate. Savannah Guthrie and her siblings want proof their mother is alive and to find out what it will take to get her back.
FBI Director Kash Patel is said to be heading to Arizona to help with that investigation. President Trump also saying federal resources will be deployed. A new pursuit policy for the Milwaukee Police Department will be going into effect tomorrow. Vehicle speed no longer enough to justify a chase. Officers must identify at least one additional factor that can include a collision with another vehicle or running a red light. Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman telling 1017 The Truth.
Ensuring that we are still engaging in pursuits and making people accountable for the behaviors they have on our road, but also recognizing that there is a level of dangerousness that we need to take in mind, and it's a balancing act.
The updated policy comes after 6 police chases killed 9 people last year in Milwaukee. Wisconsin is currently one of 29 states that does not have an age limit for judges and justices. That would change under a bill just now beginning to make its way through Madison.
Republican Brent Jacobson presented the bill to the Assembly Committee on State Affairs Tuesday. If passed, judges would be barred from seeking a new term if they are 75 years old at the time of an election.
It is vital that the officials who serve as judges and justices are able to handle the difficult tasks required of them.
Democrat Kristin called the bill a case of age discrimination.
I'm 65. I would hope at 75, I'm not too old to do anything, because that's the way you make it sound.
All of Wisconsin's current Supreme Court justices would still be eligible to run again at the end of their current terms under the bill. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything in the red. The Dow is off more than 1% at 48,900. NASDAQ down more than 1% as well at 22,530. And the S&P 500 is down about 87 points at 6,794. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:04.
Hey, there's free pizza today at the amazing Mind Chef restaurant in Hartford. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I love the free pizza days. Seriously, it's free. Coaches, managers, business owners, listen up. Check this out. Every Thursday, when you buy 1 pizza, you get a second pizza free. Buy 2, get 2 free. Buy 10, get 10 free. You get it. Bring in your basketball, wrestling, hockey, gymnastics, volleyball team, or your club organization for free pizza after your practice or game. Your players are going to love that huge game room. It's super affordable team bonding. Bring in pizza today for your loyal employees. Half those pizzas are free. The Mine Shaft in beautiful downtown Hartford and Oshkosh near the EAA. It's right off the interstate. Tons of seating, tons of close parking. Buy 1 pizza today, get 1 free. That's tons of value. Plenty to take home for tomorrow. Order now and pick it up shortly or dine in. A reminder, the Friday all-you-can-eat fish fry is just $7.99. Whoa, that's great value. Walk in today for your free Thursday pizza. MineShaftrestaurant.com.
MW Marine. Anglers, looking to up your game on Lake Michigan? Join MW Marine in Hales Corners for a free fishing seminar this Saturday at 11 a.m. Meet Tyler Schrader, Ranger and Mercury Pro, as he gives an introduction to small boat Lake Michigan trolling. Perfect for weekend fishermen. No reservations needed, just show up. Plus, check out all the new boats on display. That's this Saturday at 11 a.m. at MW Marine in Hales Corners.
When your car or truck needs service, you should take it to a specialist. I'm Deb Cruz, president of the Auto Dealers Association of Mega Milwaukee. Atom-member new car dealers have factory-warranted parts, the latest diagnostic equipment, and certified manufacturer technicians. Plus, their prices are low or lower than independent shops, even on routine things like oil changes and tire service. Knowing all that, why would you ever consider going anywhere other than an Atom member dealer?
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Sports Desk. NBA trade deadline just hours away. All eyes on the Milwaukee Bucks and two-time MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo. How is head coach Doc Rivers handling deadline day?
Day off. Go relax. I'm not going to say much, but I've said what I've said all year, and just no one hears it. So I'll let you guys figure it out from there.
Trade deadline will hit at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Meanwhile, last night, Bucks able to beat the Pelicans in overtime, 141-137. Bucks will be back at home tomorrow night against the Pacers. Green Bay general manager Brian Gutekunst remaining optimistic about the Packers' long-term outlook, but does acknowledge that they have to do a better job finishing games.
We're looking at that from a lot of different angles to make sure that we're playing our best football in December and January. I think that hasn't been the case the last 2 years, and it's really imperative that through process and people that we make sure that we take a long look at that.
Gutekunst speaking to reporters yesterday, first time after signing a multi-year contract extension last week. Let's take a look at the roads, your WTMJ time saver traffic. A couple of issues, one major one on I-41 southbound. We've got a crash. Again, I-41 southbound, that's right at the ramp from Capitol Drive. The two left lanes are blocked there because of this. So it is scooting you over. It's creating some backups starting at Silver Spring. WSDOT also saying delays are expected here for the next maybe hour or two at least. So maybe avoid that area. And then also 43 southbound right near Good Hope Road. Part of the left lane is blocked there due to a disabled vehicle. So that is kind of slowing you down as well. Some of those backups starting at Good Hope Road. Let's take a look at your forecast. We should see the light snow start to move out of the area as we head into the afternoon. Again, accumulation maybe around an inch or so. Not expecting a whole lot. High around 32 degrees. But then tonight we'll see another round of a little wintry mix move in, a low down to 25. Friday, we'll see some snow showers possible early, becoming partly cloudy then, high around 35, and then into the weekend, mostly sunny on Saturday, but colder with a high of just 20. Maybe some early snow Sunday with highs in the low 30s. Right now, it's 26 degrees in Madison, sitting at 24 in Waukesha, and it's 23 degrees in Milwaukee. I'm Neil Doyle, Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:08.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scafidi and Kristin Brey.
Good morning. Steve is still out. He is, I did text with him this morning. He's good. He sent me his recommendations for the newsletter for this weekend. So if you've not subscribed to Extra Points, text extra to 855-616-1620. Great show today. Celestin Morgan from City Forward Collective will be here at 10:35 because the Milwaukee Public School District's part of their budget, their pro forma budget, is due this week. And so we're going to talk through what that means, why it's important, where they are in their audit, and all things money when it comes to the Milwaukee Public School District. And then Jeremy Janine will be here. So we got a lot of Milwaukee today. But before we get into any of that, a lot of the feedback we get on this show is there used to be a lot more time for shows to get feedback from people who are listening, for calls, for texts. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to do that in this first half hour of today's show, because I think this is a really both interesting and vital conversation for us to have as a society. And we touched on it yesterday. So if you listen to yesterday's show, if you listen in general, I think you probably have a good guess on how I feel about our billionaire ruling class, and that I don't think it's a good thing, and that it's a policy choice to continue to allow a very small group of people control so much of the wealth and thus control a lot of aspects of our lives. So I'm not burying the lead there. People who are familiar with my opinions on things know where I sit on this. But why is this relevant literally today? Well, we talked tonight yesterday. The Washington Post has laid off roughly 1 in 3 employees across the company yesterday. So sources say that the sweeping layoffs included more than 300 employees in the newsroom, and it primarily affects sports, books, and podcasts. So we all know the owner of the Washington Post is Jeff Bezos. And the reason behind this, the Washington Post is losing money. So following the announcement, executive editor Matt Murray told CNN that Bezos, quote, remains committed to the publication and wants the Post to be a bigger, relevant, thriving institution. So we will see. It's a little confusing to me. If he is such a brilliant businessman, why are the other two, I would say, historic newspapers like the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal not struggling? What decisions were being made from the top for the Washington Post that led to this decision? But I also just want to run through some numbers for you. And then I want to get feedback from you on how you feel about this, because it's an important question. So Jeff Bezos, in 2024, his net worth was $194 billion. In less than a year, so his wealth in 2025 was $215 billion. His wealth today, $249.4 billion. So his net increase since 2024 is $55.4 billion. He has a yacht that is worth $500 million. His investment into Melania, the documentary, $75 million. Granted, it made not even, I think, $8 million its opening weekend. Bezos' original purchase of the Washington Post in 2013, $250 million. So half of what his yacht costs. What was his worth in 2013? $25 billion. So in, let's say, 15 to 16, no, I'm doing math on the air. In the 12 to 13 years since he's owned it, his wealth has increased $224.2 billion. The annual losses at the Post is $100 million. So the number of years Jeff Bezos could personally absorb the losses with what he makes in a single week is 5 years. So on the one hand, I understand that when we're talking about normal, like numbers that we can actually wrap our heads around, like that aren't these insane numbers, we would never expect a company, someone who's a wealthy person in Wisconsin, when we're thinking about like rich, but not the second or third or first, depending on the week, richest person in the world, would not, the expectation that they shouldn't operate at a loss just because it's the right thing to do, and just because they have the money to absorb it. But when we're talking about this much money, and we're talking about something that I still argue is a public good, which is some of the best reporters that we can find, that is some of the most competitive jobs to work at a storied institution like the Washington Post. Are you just okay with it? Like, is that simple? Is it as simple as that? It's just, this is a free market, baby. Like, he's earned it. It's up to him. And if he doesn't want to, operate it at a loss, even though there's potentially decisions that he's responsible for why it is working at a loss, we're still just it's up to him to just be able to lay off a third of the people who work there. Or is there a part of you that actually feels like, no, like this is part of the gig when you opted as a benevolent oligarch to buy this institution that, like, it's not a moneymaker necessarily, but that is, if there is any reason that we hand over things that provide a utility to society to a singular rich person, is it not that there is some kind of social contract that, like, yeah, you may not make money on this, but you're going to keep it going so they don't have to rely on what is a dying, I understand is maybe not dying, is a hard business to run these days. As we talked about many times, media is in flux as far as how you make money doing this, but it doesn't mean that we throw the baby out with the bathwater. So I would love to hear from you on this, because I think it is an important question as far as what do we actually value? If we're going to have people who are this rich and this powerful, is there not some kind of expectation that they don't gut the things that they buy that provide utility to so many people? 855-616-1620. Shoot us a text, give us a call, and we will continue the conversation after this.
Hey, it's WTMJ Steve Scafidi for Advent. I had snoring issues, right? Kept my wife, Kathy, up many nights, too many nights. Probably woke myself up a lot more than I realized. Poor sleep, tossing and turning, tired mornings. Kristin would say grouchy mornings on the radio. But I did something about it, which is me, action plan guy. I went to Advent as a customer and a client, 30-minute visit. They walked me through my issues, answered my questions, added a really simple sleep study at home, determined my problem, sinuses, nasal passage, and my breathing triangle. After a short procedure, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, breathing better than ever, 5.5 years ago. Now I sleep through the whole night. That's worth the price of admission. If you struggle like I used to, take the time to see how Advent can help you. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, go to adventknows.com. Adventknows.com. Schedule an appointment today, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scafidi. Fleet Farm's Paws and Claws sale is here. Now through February 8th. Save on everything pet and wild bird at Fleet Farm. Find great deals on food, treats, and toys for your furry and feathered friends. And hey, the big game is right around the corner, and Fleet Farm is here to help you host a winning game day party. Score deals on snacks, furniture, and must-have cookware. DeWalt deals, those deal days are going on right now at Fleet Farm. Find exclusive savings on trusted power tool combos, accessories, storage, and more. Only in-store at Fleet Farm. The DeWalt deal days now through Sunday, only at Fleet Farm.
Half of American parents cannot afford diapers. This is WTMJ's Kristin Brey. This spring, WTMJ and the Milwaukee Diaper Mission are teaming up to change that. Join me for WTMJ Cares, Bowling for Babies, where we will raise funds for Milwaukee Diaper Mission. Join us March 7th at Village Bowl in Menominee Falls, where you can bowl with your favorite WTMJ hosts. Text BABY to the WTMJ Talk and Text line 855-616-1620 to get more information on how you can be part of our latest WTMJ Cares event. Welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristin Brey. Steve is out until Tuesday, and we are having a conversation. I am inviting you to be part of the conversation. 855-616-1620. But the philosophical conversation, but also the very literal conversation around Jeff Bezos, the first, second, or third, depending on the day, richest person in the world, and his ability to absorb the losses of the Washington Post if he had to, but instead the gutting of 1 in 3 people being fired yesterday. And just how you feel about it. Because I will say Joe and Bill are going to be here for 90 minutes tomorrow. So everyone who's been jonesing for some Joe and Bill, that will be tomorrow. And we were on our text line, we were talking about this yesterday. And as you might imagine, Bill took the position of it's absurd to assume that someone, just because they're super rich, would need to operate a business at a loss. And I think for most of us, there is a little bit of, well, this isn't like, you're not making widgets. Like, you didn't buy a company that is making and selling something that is not so vital at a time that we need good journalism. And the truth, as we talk about a lot, the truth is expensive. Fiction is cheap. The truth is expensive. And that, like, there was a certain moral responsibility when you bought this paper to know that you were responsible for it and that it wasn't going to necessarily be Amazon and just printing money for you. So I am very interested in hearing from you on this topic, because I think there's an understandable argument for both sides. You all know where I land on this. So 855-616-1620. We have Denny on the line. Denny, how do you feel about this?
Good morning, Kristin. I'm a small business guy. I get not operating a business at a loss, but I think the bigger picture here for me is that we are not, if you read the tax code and really get into the studying now, the Bezos of the world and the guy who owns Oracle and the richest among us are not only not paying low taxes, they're paying no taxes.
Exactly.
We have no way to tax gains. We pass through wealth on death with no taxes. And so right now we're stacking wealth so highly in basically baby boomers that in 2050, 65% of our total wealth in our country will be owned by the children of baby boomers. Okay, now somewhere or other, I'm with you. I think on the paper side, the Washington Post is a great paper. I think it should be carried forward. I understand not wanting a loss, but the bigger picture is the super wealthy have rigged the system, so the rest of us are paying the bill. I'm not asking them to pay everything, but pay your fair share. And right now, our legislators are doing nothing about that. Nothing about that.
Denny, I could not agree with you more. And I think that is the thing as far as I totally understand from the small business perspective of the margins you guys have to work off of, the grind and the passion you have for your business, and understanding, when you go to the ballot box and you are voting, wanting a preferable tax code for you as a small business. But the way that carries over into little to no taxes for these people who can just print money and then thus afford ways to find new ways to not have to pay taxes and carry throughs and passing it on. It's it's totally apples and oranges. And so Denny, thank you so much for weighing in on that and giving your perspective, because I totally agree. This is a policy choice. There is a reason that we are seeing the increase of the amount of billionaires and how much billionaires are multiplying their wealth at the pace of which they're doing it. And it doesn't have to be like this. It's not just because they're that good at their job. It's not like there weren't people in the 50s, 60s, and 70s who were also very, very good at their job. It's not like people just somehow got smarter and more talented in the last 20 or 30 years. It was that there was choices made in our tax code. And so, yes, I would love if you would like to weigh in on this, 855-616-1620. I will read a couple of the texts that are coming in from the 414. John, a free press is absolutely essential in a democratic republic. Controlling the free press is essential to Project 2025. When oligarchs participate in controlling the free press to please authoritarians, we are in big trouble. I totally agree with that. Here's a good question, 262. From the 262. When is the last time you purchased a Washington Post, Kristin? Now, the actual physical paper, very long time. Do I read the 7, the daily newsletter from Washington Post every single morning? Yes. Do I subscribe to the digital access to the Washington Post? Yes. So I do. I do like the Washington Post. I like the New York Times. I know a lot of people bemoan the mainstream media, but to me, I still revere it as far as how competitive it is to get those jobs and how smart a lot of these people are, and the balance that they are constantly playing of trying to find the truth, understanding that there is a business aspect to it. So you don't always agree with how the headlines are written, but you have to get people to click, and the constant balance that it takes to be a successful media company right now. But I still very much believe in the people who have these jobs and are, I think, the heart of a true journalist and their dedication to the truth, and is something to be respected and revered. And so, yes, I still read the Washington Post all the time. All right, let's take another break. I'm going to read through some more of the texts because we have a bunch on here, and I don't want to read live without reviewing them first, because you never know what people are texting into the text line. So if you want your voice heard, you want me to see what you have to say on the topic, 855-616-1620. We will get to more of this after this break.
Many wins. Many, 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 many wins. Waiting at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. This February, you could break the bank and get down with a share of $300,000 in prizes. Bust out your rewards card and play to earn entries. It all goes down with Thursday drawings. Break the bank. Only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Come on into Tyson's, more for you. Mark your calendars. Tyson's Big Red Bag Sale is coming on February 6th. Get 15% off all regular and clearance price merchandise you could fit inside our Tyson's Big Red Bag, plus many more amazing deals. Be sure to check out the Big Red Bag Sale at Tyson's, February 6th through the 8th. Some exclusions apply. See Tyson's Facebook page for details.
Come on into Tyson's, more for you.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickert with my son David, president of Accunet. David, we're pre-approving a lot of home shoppers this time of year. Why should someone choose Accunet for their pre-approval?
Dad, getting pre-approved with just any lender is like showing up to a first date in sweatpants. Sure, you're there, but are you really ready to impress? Our rock-solid pre-approval is like showing up in your best outfit with reservations already made. We also have an excellent reputation among real estate agents, so having Accunet's name on your pre-approval can make the difference.
What else?
In addition to clearly stating we verified your credit, income, and down payment, we'll also run the specific home you're looking to buy through our underwriting software to see if we can approve your loan without an appraisal, which sellers and their agents absolutely love. Bottom line, we do everything possible to help you win.
Thanks, David. Don't settle for anything less. Get started with your rock-solid pre-approval by clicking on the blue button today at Accunet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Why DIY your frozen pizza toppings when Screamin' Sicilian already went over the top for you? We're talking whole milk mozzarella, heaps of premium meats, a mountain of veggies. Screamin' Sicilian is frozen pizza stacked, no add-ons needed. Mamma mia! Screamin' Sicilian, so loaded with toppings, it's almost cheating. Find Screamin' Sicilian in your local grocer's freezer section and taste what all the screamin' is about.
I'm Libby Collins. This week we talk with UW Health oncologist Dr. Toby Campbell.
It's hard to know a specific cause in an individual person, but I have a number of patients who, after developing lung cancer, have their basements tested to discover that their radon levels are sky high. Because of the way that it forms, within one tumor, you might have tens or hundreds of different cells.
WTMJ Conversations, Sunday mornings at 11 on WTMJ.
Welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristin, Brey. Steve is out until Tuesday. I can't wait to ask Steve this question. Because we did, when we were still doing You Need to Listen as a podcast, we had a Billionaires episode. And he was much more, he was a lot easier on the Billionaires than I was. Let's put it that way. All right, let's get through some of these texts because there is a lot of them. And so I'm happy that people seem to be as fired up on this topic as I am. Hey, Kristin, I think that back in the 19th and 20th century, benevolent oligarchs were more afraid of the masses. In the late 20th and now 21st century, the oligarchs have realized that the masses are either unable or unwilling to rise up and force them to contribute to the public good. This is actually really interesting. So I was listening to Kara Swisher's pivot, and it wasn't Scott Galloway that she was talking to. She was talking to someone else. And, you know, this is a reporter who knows she has relationships with all of these people. And she said that. She goes, you know, a lot of the Gilded Age, the JP Morgans, the Vanderbilts, all those guys, she's like, they were terrible human beings, like on a personal level, but they understood that they had to contribute to society. Otherwise, the masses would rise up against them. And she goes, this cohort of billionaires do not understand that. She goes, I have had conversations with them of trying to warn them about there's going to be a populist uprising against you, and they don't understand that is potentially coming. But maybe it's not coming because, like they said, maybe are we unable or unwilling to actually rise up and demand this? Another text, the problem I have with mainstream media is they sensationalize every issue. They put a spin on everything they report to turn it into a crisis, and every topic is said to be the end of democracy. So the public will stay tuned in to hear more. Well, I think saying the mainstream media is a very broad thing to put, but I think cable news is definitely that, right? I don't think there is any question as far as what Fox and CNN and a lot of the cable news has done is exactly that. The newspapers, I might give a little more leeway to. All right, when we come back, Celeste and Morgan, but now the news.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Investigators in Arizona still searching for the mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie. ABC's Aaron Katursky in Tucson.
The sheriff here has said he believes that Nancy Guthrie is alive. He has offered no suspects, though, in connection with her disappearance.
Ransom notes have been sent to media outlets, including the ABC affiliate in Tucson, but have not been verified. The U.S. and Iran set to hold nuclear talks tomorrow in Oman. Minneapolis officials responding to the announcement of a drawdown of federal agents in the city.
Border Czar Tom Homan saying some 2,000 agents now remaining. More could leave soon if Homan gets more of what he calls, quote, unprecedented cooperation from local and state authorities. Local officials calling it a good first step, but wanting a faster drawdown of officers.
ABC's Matt Rivers in Minneapolis. Job openings have fallen to their lowest level in more than 5 years, according to the Labor Department. Dow's down 489. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 10:31. I'm Neil Doyle. A teenager is dead, 2 others injured after a shooting in Kenosha. It happened near 60th Street and 6th Avenue. Just after 8 o'clock Wednesday night, a 16-year-old boy was shot and died at the scene. The Kenosha Unified School District confirmed he was a student at Bradford High School. 2 students from Indian Trail High School were also injured, one critically. Police say they arrested a 16-year-old boy and a 19-year-old man. In Milwaukee, one person dead after a shooting near the Garden Homes neighborhood. That happened last night, right around 7 o'clock near 25th and Capitol. 29-year-old dying in that shooting. Police are still searching for a suspect. On a party lines vote, the state legislature's Finance Committee advancing a bill to roll back a controversial budget veto by Governor Tony Evers. The so-called 400-year veto to the 2023-25 state budget allows public school districts to raise revenue limits by $325 per pupil. Republicans say the governor's veto has caused property taxes to increase statewide, but Democrats pushing back, saying that veto was necessary due to a lack of funding for public schools. The GOP-led bill now heads to the state assembly. Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management market update. Everything still in the red. Rough day so far on the markets. The Dow is down 500 points at 49,000. The NASDAQ off about 1% as well, sitting at 22,680. And the S&P 500 is off 64 points at 6,818. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Let's take a look at the roads. Your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Still have issues 41 southbound. We've got a crash that's right near Capitol Drive. The 2 left lanes there are blocked as they are trying to get the scene cleared. That is creating some backups starting at Silver Spring. So you might want to avoid that area. Again, a lot of congestion because of that crash with the 2 left lanes blocked. And then an issue still 43 southbound right beyond the ramp from Good Hope Road. That's, again, 43 southbound. Left lane is closed there because of a disabled vehicle, so that is creating a couple of slowdowns starting at Good Hope Road. So those are our 2 major incidents right now that we're tracking. Otherwise, rest of the system looking good. And let's take a look at your forecast. Light snow is starting to taper off, so we should get a little reprieve as we head into the afternoon, a high around 32 degrees. But then we'll see a chance for a snow and wintry mix come back into the area late tonight, a low down to 25. Chances for snow showers then on Friday, partly cloudy conditions, a high near 35. And then into the weekend, mostly sunny, colder on Saturday with a high near 20. Could see some early snow on Sunday with highs in the low 30s. Right now, it's 24 degrees in Green Bay. We're sitting at 23 degrees in West Allis, and it's 23 in Milwaukee. I'm Neil Doyle, Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 1034.
If you need a place for new home interior ideas, then you have to come talk to us. Our on-staff decorators know furniture, home decor, and a lot more. And they're not only creative, but also very willing to help you make great choices. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating taste come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee. Stop in often because our inventory changes daily.
Design Exchange.
Previously, it has been gently loved. But here, you'll only find very well-conditioned premium home decor items that you likely won't find elsewhere. Distinctive furniture, unique antiques, and original art, and other tasteful home decor at a value. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor on consignment at 25 to 40% off retail prices in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Day after day, year after year, the heavy lifting, the repetitive motion, and now your body feels it. Your back, your knees, your quality of life. At Access Legal, we stand up for people worn down by work. Workers' comp is our sole focus, and our team has recovered more than $35 million for Wisconsin workers. From sudden accidents to pain that builds over years of hard work, we're dedicated to fighting for the benefits you're entitled to. If you've been worn down by work, contact Access Legal for a risk-free consultation. Search AXIS Legal today.
Truth Nation, mark your calendars for Friday, February 20th, as we will be hosting our second annual Truth Community Awards, hosted by the legendary Home, Blow, and Bailey Cope. Tickets are on sale now. Visit 1017truthawards.com to learn more. The Truth Community Awards are sponsored by Milwaukee College Prep, the Milwaukee Bucks, Gruber, Steinhoffels, Cousin Subs, and 3rd Street Market Hall. Come celebrate with us on Friday, February 20th at the Truth Community Awards from 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Do not miss out on the best community awards event of the year.
It's time for some forward thinking on Point Taken. Brought to you by City Forward Collective, focusing on education in Milwaukee.
All right, indeed. Kristin Morgan from City Forward Collective, a local nonprofit working to ensure there is great Milwaukee schools for every Milwaukee family, is here to share more about what their organization is working on these days. And I always look forward to these conversations, especially with what we talk about off air.
Yes.
Because then I get, the little trick of the trade is sometimes the conversation on air is a little more formal than the conversation off
Fair
air.
enough. We got to get set up.
Yeah, but not that it's just a little bit more, there's off the record is a term for a reason. All right, so today we are diving into a pro forma budget.
Yes.
Which, for those of us who don't work on boards,
I was going to say,
may or may not know what that is.
We started way in the weeds here, but I'll try to make it a little bit more interesting. There's been a lot of conversation. We've been talking even about some of the school finance challenges and conversations on property taxes, and specifically what that means for school funding levels here in Milwaukee and for Milwaukee Public Schools. Let me start with the good news, and it is good news, right? The district has finally gotten through all of the back audits that created the mess of the last year and a half.
Okay.
I think they submitted the third of those audits maybe 2 weeks ago now, towards the end of January. There's final pieces of cleanup that are sort of outside their control that, we think this whole thing should be done by March. It's taken way too long, but it's a good thing, right? We at least now have a clear picture of where the dollars and cents are inside Milwaukee Public Schools, and for a $1.6 billion budget, that's not inconsequential.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so that's the good news. So what is a budget pro forma?
Yes.
And why is it important?
Now the tough news. So now that we know what the numbers are still pretty challenged. And I will say this isn't a surprise for those of us who have been watching this fairly closely, but it may come as a surprise to others. Superintendent Casilius has been publicly saying we have I think she's called it a budget imbalance of about $100 million.
And this is even after the referendum.
This is after the referendum. This is after this year they're seeing about $105 million more in state aid. I know there's been lots of conversations about state aid being flat statewide. MPS is actually one of the few districts that was a winner, even with that state aid being flat.
Is that because of the amount of special education, like the fact that the special education funding went up by a couple percentage points, so there's more fun? Is that where the more funding is coming from?
A little bit of it, but the bigger piece of it is, frankly, when MPS taxes itself, it attracts more state aid. It's the way our state funding formula works. It's kind of like a magnet. So when Milwaukee taxpayers pay more, then state aid goes up as well. And in this case, because everything was zero funded, a lot of what MPS is pulling in came from other districts around the state. So you'll hear superintendents. I think the superintendent in Waukesha spoke about this in the negative, because Waukesha lost about 2 or 3% of its state aid. Most of that moved into Milwaukee.
So it is a pie, right?
It's
so
a pie.
There is ultimately it was a pie. If someone's getting more, someone's getting less.
It's a $5 billion pie, and if MPS gets $105 million more in its slice of the pie, that's got to come from somewhere. But even with all of these things moving around, at the end of the day, what appears to be clear is that MPS is going to have a 9-figure budget deficit that it has to close. $100 million has been the number publicly. there are some indications that that number may well be even higher. And then the specific thing that has already shown up in the conversation is a desire on the part of teachers and other educational staff to see inflationary increases, what are called step increases, and then a cost of living adjustment on top of that. Not unreasonable, to be clear.
I think we all are like, I literally just talked about this with my boss. I was like, I've been here 2 years, and it's like, the dollar's worth a lot less than it was when I started.
It's absolutely not unreasonable ask. However, when you add it all up, this was a number that came out a couple weeks ago. It ends up being about a $55 million hit to the budget to grant those step increases and grant that inflationary cost of living adjustment. For a district that's already staring down the barrel of $100 million plus hole, that's a lot more to put on top of that. And if that's what the board chooses to prioritize, I think the message that we're starting to hear from the administration is there are going to have to be some trade backs someplace else, right? Because we want to land this budget in a responsible, balanced position. Frankly, we haven't known whether or not the budget has been balanced for the last couple of years because of those audits not being done. Now that we've got the clarity on the picture, that's where this pro forma becomes very important and the start of what's going to be a multi-month process in which the district's going to have to make some tough choices.
So, and those choices, I imagine, are going to come to facilities.
It seems like they're trying to hedge every which way to avoid that conversation. But, I don't see, and it's hard for anyone who I know who observes these budgets to see a way in which they can get through this conversation and not have to finally confront the reality that this is a district that is 30% smaller by enrollment than it was 20 years ago. They haven't closed, maybe one school in that period of time. The superintendent has talked about this as right sizing so that she can reinvest in the schools that are operational. And I think that's exactly the right way to think about it. But the right sizing has to happen. And it's not trimming at the edges. Again, we're talking $100 to $150 million, maybe even more than that, depending on what we see in the numbers over the next few days.
Okay,
these are big decisions.
Yeah, so let's keep talking about the facility thing, because I actually have a friend who went through the process of buying a building from MPS, and it did not seem straightforward. Let's talk more about that after this. We're talking to Kristin Morgan, Executive Director of City Forward Collective, about MPS. We'll be back with more after this.
What does meaningful giving really look like? Join Annex Wealth Management for our Women in Wealth series, Giving from the Heart, where purpose meets tax planning, on February 19th in Brookfield. Enjoy dinner, refreshments, and an engaging evening on giving with intention. Hear from a local panel of nonprofit leaders as they explore today's philanthropic trends, smart charitable strategies, and how your giving can reflect your values and legacy.
Hi, I'm Maggie Tate-Tuckman, Executive Director at Haws. I hope to see you on February 19th. Reserve your spot on the events page at annexwealth.com.
In 1987, the Bucks took on the world and changed basketball forever.
At stake, basketball supremacy in the United States.
Bucks versus the World, narrated by Charlie Behrens, is the new season of Behind the Bucks podcast, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. It's the untold story of the 1987 McDonald's Open, when the Bucks became the first NBA team to face the Soviet Union. Listen now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
When your car or truck needs service, you should take it to a specialist. I'm Deb Cruz, president of the Auto Dealers Association of Mega Milwaukee. Adam member new car dealers have factory warranted parts, the latest diagnostic equipment, and certified manufacturer technicians. Plus, their prices are low or lower than independent shops, even on routine things like oil changes and tire service. Knowing all that, why would you ever consider going anywhere other than an Adam member dealer?
There's never been a better time to experience Pella in person and get all your questions answered. Join us at the Neary Spring Home Improvement Show, February 13th through the 15th at Wisconsin State Fair Park. Book your in-home consultation at the show and receive a free DesignWorks rendering. Rest easy with Pella's 10-year limited warranty and get 0% interest for up to 48 months. Set your free in-home consultation at PellaWI.com.
Buy one pizza today, get a second pizza free at the Amazing Mineshaft restaurant in Hartford and in Oshkosh. Don't cook, don't even think about it. You don't need to clean up either. Call, order, and pick up shortly, or just walk in for your free Thursday pizza, mineshaft.com.
Welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristin Brey. Steve is out until Tuesday. We are having our bi-monthly, is that how we describe
we'll go
this?
for it,
Every
yeah.
2 weeks-ish conversation about school in largely Milwaukee, sometimes across Wisconsin, with Kristin Morgan, Executive Director of City Forward Collective. And we're talking about MPS, their budget pro forma. Is that the not
Yes,
pro forma budget?
Let's go with the budget process.
Budget process. And so as they are continuing to make hard choices, conversation around facilities, because we know this just from when we talk about referenda that almost every community has seen. When we talk about the operational referenda, when we're talking about the actual buildings that need to be maintained and how many of them need to be maintained is a big question for this. And we've talked about right sizing before in the last couple months. So is that part of this conversation?
I'm not certain that it is yet, but we believe it absolutely has to be. And in fact, last month, the school board got an update on its facilities planning process from its consultants. And there were some good numbers. They were kind of hard to find inside the deck. But here's one that really stuck with me. They identified, I think it was 26 elementary school campuses that each have fewer than 300 students in the building. These are buildings that are half empty, in some cases 2/3 empty. They added up how much extra MPS was spending, and it was somewhere between 15 and 30% more in those 26 campuses. They looked specifically at how much they were spending to keep just the physical building up. And the average sort of per student spend in those buildings was something like 3 times as much as across the rest of the MPS portfolio of school buildings. So that's just the building cost. You could then add up how much does it cost you end up inevitably having to overstaff these schools, right? You've got a school with, I think one had like 115 students in it. But that doesn't mean you don't need a first grade teacher, a second grade teacher, and a third grade teacher. And by the time you get done with that, you are now, $6, $8, $10 million in on staffing costs on top of 15 to 30% more in facilities costs. And you see how these things begin to add up really quickly into, something that's unsustainable. Put it all together. 7 years ago, the last time MPS went through a facilities planning process, they estimated then that it was something on the order of $50 million that MPS is spending maintaining half-empty school buildings. Just throw inflation on that, you get to like a $60 to $75 million number now, and it seems like that's about what this process is showing us is there now.
So when we're talking, because we're talking about this in the context of $100 million-ish shortfall for the budget.
Yeah.
So here is one theory for a solution: is right sizing, figuring out the right amount of facilities that we need for the amount of kids that we have in MPS. What are some of the other competing theories of how to attack that shortfall?
Right, and and I would put out there, we were sort of talking about in the first half of our conversation, right? They've got some spend side demands as well. They made a decision to update the version of their reading curriculum, which I think was like an $8 or $9 million investment, and I think a good one to be clear. But those investments are also that adds on top of that $100 million, right? And so at some point you got to choose: do you want to keep paying for half-empty buildings that and overstaffing schools that are serving 100 kids? Or do we more efficiently place the staff that we have, the resources that we have against, yes, a fewer number of schools, but is there a way for us to make those schools better, right? To invest in additional resources. And I think you've started to see the superintendent offer some ideas there. To my eye, it's felt incomplete and maybe not sort of meeting the magnitude of the moment. But that's a conversation that I think I know our community is ready to have. We've polled on this issue, and you see something like 57 to 60% support for this conversation about what is necessary in terms of consolidations and reinvestments. before we start having a conversation that says we need more money, which seems to be the answer that we're getting far too often from the school board. We need more money, the state owes us more money, or it's time for us to go for yet another referendum. I think there's a lot of frustration.
So
and
that's
angst.
the other argument.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
basically that we just need more money.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of frustration.
It does seem, I don't know, we don't have enough time to actually get into it, but it does seem that there is, from the public's standpoint, because the other conversation that we have had and we have in a lot is property taxes. And so I think people's appetite to spend more money is, have we exhausted other solutions?
That's exactly what we see. And this came out really loud and clear in our polling. We polled specifically the question, would you support another referendum? It was something like 40% people support, 60% oppose it.
Okay.
You want
still more than I thought it would be.
You want those numbers to be flipped, however, if you're going to win. And that was just a general. That's not with any specific numbers. That's not knowing how that's going to impact your property taxes. We actually asked people the question, if the choice were consolidations and right sizing or increased taxes, this was a 2-to-1 margin in favor of this consolidation right sizing conversation. And when you actually do the thing, which to the MPS's credit, they're going to take the next couple of months, at least they say they're going to take the next couple of months and do community engagement work. But when you give people those conversations and lay the facts in front of them, we actually see support move further ahead for closures and consolidations. This is a very different space than we've been in as a city over the last couple of decades. And I think sort of when you get beyond the political rhetoric, which I understand why that's going on, and there's a governor's race, I get it.
Yeah.
But when you actually get down to people who are trying to make ends meet day to day, week to week, they want to see their kids in good schools. They are willing to invest. We've seen that in Milwaukee. We're seeing that around the state. But they want to see a return on that investment. And I think that's a fair ask for people to be making.
All right. What happens next?
Well, we look for these numbers. We should probably get a peek at them sometime between tomorrow and next week, Tuesday, when the school board's budget committee holds its next meeting. Usually this budget gets adopted in May, so I think we're going to be talking about this for a few months to come.
So in 2 weeks, when we see you back here, maybe we'll have an update.
We'll see.
All right, Kristin Morgan, Executive Director of City Forward Collective. Always fun to have you here. Always fun to talk education with you as I make choices as a parent. All right, we'll see you soon.
All right, thanks, Kristin.
We'll be back after this.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Forward Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityforwardcollective.org. That's cityforwardcollective.org.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scafidi here for QC Kinetics. 40,000 people. Let that number sink in for a second. I was one of those people. That's not a crowd. That's a small city choosing relief without surgery. When I messed up my elbow last year, I went to QC Kinetics. So if you think you're out of options and surgery you think is the only answer today, you can move better, hurt less, get your life back thanks to QC Kinetics advanced regenerative treatments. The truth is, surgery isn't always the answer. QC Kinetics and Dr. Ashley Caravelli, awesome, right here in Milwaukee, using safe natural treatments backed by real science and treatments that activate your body's natural healing power, safe, natural, non-surgical, and this is the important part, critical. The sooner you start, the faster inflammation will ease, sooner you'll slow down all the things, the progression of pain that's causing all your problems. So it's important to get started now. 40,000 people can't be wrong. Before you say yes to surgery, call QC Kinetics. The consultation is free. 414-667-5559. That's 414-667-5559.
For 176 years, St. Vincent de Paul Society of Milwaukee has been neighbors helping neighbors, working to eliminate poverty and hunger with compassion and dignity. When families face hard times, our volunteers step in. Over 600 trained volunteers ready to meet people where they're at, in their homes. And that's what our Neighbors Helping Neighbors home visit program is all about. Volunteers travel in pairs, listening first, then offering personalized support. They provide families and individuals with things like furniture, beds, food, clothing, and connect them to vital community resources, help that provides stability during challenging times. These home visits don't just address an immediate need, they help create a safer, more stable future for our families and individuals in our community. Last year alone, St. Vincent de Paul Society volunteers completed nearly 11,000 home visits across Milwaukee County, serving those who need us most. Together, we are neighbors helping neighbors. To learn more about our mission or get involved, visit svdpmilw.org.
February means big savings at Exterior Pros and Baths. Upgrade your home with energy-efficient windows, durable roofing, new siding, or a beautiful bath makeover and get $3,000 off your project. That's $3,000 in instant savings, but only for a limited time during our February winter savings event. Call 262-800-4274 or visit extpros.com now. Exterior Pros and Baths. Big savings done right.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Welcome back to Point Taken. Got about a minute before we go into the top of the hour news. Big thanks to Kristin Morgan, as always. Always interesting. Like, as a parent who I have not yet had to make the choices as far as where we're going to send our kid to school. But I am a big believer in public schools. I want strong public schools. I would like to send Frankie to MPS. But it is not without some consternation on my side as far as, like, what does that mean? How do we navigate it? And how do we work towards making it better? Because I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I mean, right now, we all know that MPS is a mess, but it's like believing that it could be better, and what does it take to actually get there, and what hard conversations need to happen for it to get there. And I think there's probably people who, there's a lot of ways to get there, and people have very strong feelings about it. So I always agree. I always really enjoy our conversations with Kristin as far as the work that they're doing and the real conversations and hard work that's happening behind the scenes. So when we come back, it's Thursday. So that means Jeremy Janine will be here to talk all things Milwaukee and what he's been covering as of late. Unclear if we're going to be talking about HPVs or not. My favorite topic. If you know, you know. All right, news is next.
You're invited. Vince Vitrano here for Colette Vacations, and I would love for you to join us. Southern Italy and Sicily this fall. We'll see it all. Palermo, that's where my family is from. Agrigento's Valley of the Temples. Amalfi Coast to Sorrento. Positano. We'll even walk in the excavated ruins of Pompeii and savor regional wines, specialty cuisine, and history. Maybe the best part, you don't have to plan a thing. Colette covers all the details. The flight, the meals, best hotels, and amazing local experiences. No wondering what to visit. How do we get there? They have tickets, all taken care of by my team at Colette. My wife, Nicole, and I would love for you to join us. The trip is in late October, and I can send you all the information. Send me an email, vince@WTMJ.com. That's vince@WTMJ.com. I'll send you the brochure, everything you need to know, including your all-in cost and options. Vinny's European vacation to Southern Italy and Sicily with Colette. Join us this fall.
It's a robber, and if you ignore it, it will just keep taking and taking. I know how pain can consume you. It steals the fun out of life. It steals your energy. And it's just a dark cloud over a lot of people's lives, even on the sunniest of days. But your joint pain does not have to rob you of your life or your happiness. Because at Rejuvenex, we can alleviate your pain, and that can rejuvenate your life. In a world where big box healthcare has driven pain treatment costs through the roof and has made it look like joint replacements are your only option, Rejuvenex has kept pain treatment affordable for almost anyone. And for most with insurance, including Medicare and Medicaid, we've seen pain treatment paid for by insurance with zero out-of-pocket cost to our patients. This is Rejuvenex founder Richard Salinas. Don't let pain rob you. Take action today so we can help make your joint pain go away. Call today, and there's a good chance we'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, Gene Miller here. The heart of winter is the best time to call my friends at Hometown Windows and Doors. Save heating and cooling dollars down the road with energy-efficient replacement windows and doors from brands like Pella, Anderson, Marvin, and more. Hometown is your local source for wood, vinyl, or fiberglass, plus all of their products are installed by employee carpenters. Stop into their newly remodeled showroom in New Berlin and see the Hometown difference. That's Hometown with an E for your every window and door need. HometownWindows.com.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Stay up to date with your trusted and relevant source in news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 11 o'clock, it's 26 degrees. We'll see maybe a little bit of more snow later on, but the snow should be tapering off as we head into the afternoon, a high around 32. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Neil Doyle. President Trump, speaking at the annual National Prayer Breakfast in Washington this morning, defended National Intelligence Director Tulsi Gabbard's participation in last week's FBI seizure of election materials in Fulton County, Georgia, saying Attorney General Pam Bondi insisted that she be there.
President Trump said Thursday that Attorney General Pam Bondi insisted Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard be present during an FBI search of a Georgia election office last week.
They say, why is she doing it? Right, Pam? Why is she doing it? Because Pam wanted her to do it.
But Gabbard sent a letter on Monday to top Democrats saying, quote, my presence was requested by the president. The president today also suggested the raid of the Fulton County, Georgia election office took place to investigate foreign election interference, but he didn't give any evidence. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
In Kenosha, a teenager is dead, 2 others injured after a shooting. It happened last night around 8 o'clock near 60th Street and 6th Avenue. A 16-year-old boy was shot and died at the scene. The Kenosha Unified School District confirming that he was a student at Bradford High School. 2 students from Indian Trail High School were also injured, one critically. Police say they arrested a 16-year-old boy and a 19-year-old man. Wisconsin's data center boom igniting some concerns over utility rates for customers.
MMAC President and CEO Dale Quenga says the tech giants are on board to pay all the costs associated with new power infrastructure.
And segregate that away from the other residences and businesses in the area.
But one proposal from We Energies could saddle other customers with 25% of construction and fuel costs. Brian Rogers with Walnut Way Conservation Corps says that sets a dangerous precedent.
This is the baseline. And so this is going to have an impact not just here, but across the state.
Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
Prices at the gas pump have been fairly cheap for many across the Badger State. Gas Buddy's Patrick DeHaan telling Wisconsin's Afternoon News prices averaging about $2.50 statewide.
Wisconsin, Milwaukee seeing prices about 30 cents lower than last year. Where we are right now, Wisconsin's actually the 9th largest year-on-year deficit. Prices averaging today, like I said, a little over 30 cents a gallon lower than last year. Now, Iowa's even more significant at about a 47-cent drop.
Lower oil prices and a steady gasoline supply have helped keep some of those prices down. Gas prices nationally averaging about $2.80 a gallon. Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. All of the indexes plunging here today. Dow is off about 384 points, sitting at 49,116. The NASDAQ is down almost 1% at 22,700. And the S&P 500 is off 55 points at 6,827. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:04.
Recently, a seller that unfortunately ended up choosing another agent called me. She said she made a mistake, and what she was expressing to me sounded like she kind of was bullied into signing with him. Is it typical? Not always, but it will never happen when you hire a Century 21 Benefit Realty agent. I want our agents to be able to look in the mirror and say, I'd want to work with me. Not because they're good at saying what you want to hear or offer the lowest commission, but because of trust. Because if you're not feeling that from your agent, that's a problem. And I don't want that. At 1.9% on the listing side of your sale with our commission capped at $19,000, Century 21 Benefit Realty leads with a very fair and transparent commission structure with maximum marketing that can get your home sold fast and for the best price. And saving money matters, but working with someone who will tell you exactly what you need to know up front, that creates trust. And that matters too. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scafidi. Fleet Farm's Paws and Claws sale is here. Now through February 8th. Save on everything pet and wild bird at Fleet Farm. Find great deals on food, treats, and toys for your furry and feathered friends. And hey, the big game is right around the corner, and Fleet Farm is here to help you host a winning game day party. Score deals on snacks, furniture, and must-have cookware. DeWalt deals, those deal days are going on right now at Fleet Farm. Find exclusive savings on trusted power tool combos, accessories, storage, and more. Only in-store at Fleet Farm. The DeWalt deal days now through Sunday, only at Fleet Farm.
Your European experts at Fox World Travel are ramping up and busy as ever. When you want to see more of Europe, Princess Cruises delivers. With Princess Cruises and Fox World Travel, explore iconic Mediterranean ports by day, then relax in classic comfort by night. From immersive shore excursions to destination-inspired dining, every moment is designed to feel effortless. Ready to set sail on your Mediterranean adventure? Call 866-GO-FOX-GO or visit foxworldtravel.com to book your European getaway.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law offices. One call, that's all sports desk. Well, with the NBA trade deadline today, all eyes on the Milwaukee Bucks. And getting some reports here, ESPN insider Shams Charania saying the Milwaukee Bucks indicating that the team will keep Giannis Antetokounmpo through the trade deadline and will start making other trades. And then again, that's according to Shams from ESPN. And just after that message on social media, the Bucks are agreeing to trade Cole Anthony and Amir Coffey to the Phoenix Suns for Nick Richards and Nigel Hayes-Davis. So the Bucks making a trade, but appears they will not be trading Giannis. Again, the trade deadline will come at about 2 o'clock this afternoon. Green Bay general manager Brian Gutekunst remaining optimistic about the Packers' long-term outlook, but does acknowledge they have to do a better job at finishing games.
We're looking at that from a lot of different angles to make sure that we're playing our best football in December and January. I think that hasn't been the case the last 2 years, and it's really imperative that, through process and people that we make sure that we take a long look at that.
Gutekunst speaking with reporters yesterday. It was the first time he had addressed the media after signing a multi-year contract extension last week. Take a look at the roads. Your WTMJ time saver traffic. Still issues on 41 southbound. This crash right near Capitol Drive. 2 left lanes have been blocked, so certainly creating some delays. Those backups are getting a little bit better, but you're going to start hitting the brakes as you approach Hampton. Looks like, according to the cameras I can see, looks like crews are still on the scene trying to clear that up, but still some delays with that crash. 41 southbound right near Capitol Drive. We had that issue on 43 southbound as well, a disabled vehicle that was causing some delays right near Good Hope. It looks like they've gotten that cleared up, so no issues, and the rest of the system looking good. Take a look at your forecast. This light snow is starting to taper off, kind of moving out of the area. We'll see a high near 32 degrees, but then we'll get another round of a wintry mix late tonight. Low down to 25, and then we'll see that snow continue into Friday. Partly cloudy skies, a high around 35 degrees, and then into the weekend. Sunny conditions on Saturday, but colder with a high near 20. And then Sunday, maybe some snow chances early, mostly cloudy with highs in the low 30s. Right now, it is 29 degrees in Madison, sitting at 27 degrees in Waukesha, and it's 26 degrees in Milwaukee. I'm Neil Doyle, Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:08.
11 o'clock on a Thursday means it's time for a full hour of city stories with Urban Milwaukee President Jeremy Janine on Point Taken.
We have a lot of Milwaukee news. Literally, Jeremy Janine walked in with his Bucks. Did you do that on purpose in your Bucks hoodie today?
This is a national holiday, at least for Jeremy Janine, because NBA trade deadline day is big in my world.
Is always a sigh of relief when it sounds. I thought this was a done deal.
I did not. As I said before, it makes all the sense in the world. If the Bucks are going to trade Giannis, to trade him in the summer, other teams have more flexibility. The Bucks can get more back. The Bucks also can slightly wheel and deal a little bit more.
So you're not surprised.
I'm a CBA nerd. Collective.
I mean, I don't think there's anything that needs to come before nerd. I love you dearly, but like you are a quintessential nerd, which I am too. Just, so nerd, game recognizes game.
Appreciate it.
All right. So where should we start today? Because I highlighted of the list of things you sent, there's many things that I am excited to get to. So where do you want to start?
All right. Well, let's start with the one I teased, which wasn't published Inside Baseball. I sent this list over on Wednesday night, and this story was still coming down the editing pike, which is that an interesting public policy question has arisen for the first time that I can ever tell in the city of Milwaukee, which is the city has the Fire and Police Commission, the oversight board for the police and fire department. Act 12 took away a little bit of their authority in terms of they can't directly set policies, but now they have to work more with the chiefs, both of police and fire. But those individuals have always lived in Milwaukee, the 9 of them. Act 12 established that, and this was a caveat to the police association, basically, that the police association more or less gets to choose one member, but that person has to be a city resident. And the fire department union also gets to choose a person, essentially, and that person also has to be a city resident. The other 7 people don't have to be city residents. Again, that's never been an issue before. Well, it turns out one of the people Mayor Cavalier Johnson appointed in 2022 has quietly moved out of the city. The mayor was not aware of this. Scott Spiker, who is head of the Public Safety and Health Committee, was not aware of this. It turns out the head of the Fire and Police Commission, the staffer there, was aware. He was notified.
How far out of the city?
To West Bend.
Yeah, that's pretty far. Okay.
So that gets
Not like Shorewood.
No, and if you're an active law enforcement member or fire department member, you have to live within 15 miles of the city. And the thought there is, if it snows, we want you to still be able to get to work. That requirement, of course, doesn't apply if you retire from the police department, which is what Ruben Burgos did in 2013. He continued to live on the south side of Milwaukee for a long time. He's heavily involved in Mexican Fiesta. He also is a professor of criminal justice at UW Milwaukee and other public safety-related courses. But when I informed Cavalier Johnson, the mayor, of this yesterday, he said, I'm disappointed by that. I want people who serve on boards and commissions, people who serve the city, to live in the city. So I'm very disappointed by that. I'll be looking into this and investigating it myself. Now, Scott Spiker, I asked him later in the day, and he said, in general, we're trying to make sure our police and fire folks are moving back to the city.
Mm-hmm.
And what we learned is there's 37% of the police officers, that's it now, live in the city, where in 2013 it was 100%. And so Scott Spiker said, so we would like our oversight body to have a similar commitment to the city. I don't think it's a good thing that we have members living outside the city. Now, Ruben Burgos has, at this point, not violated any law by living outside of the city, but he's raised this interesting public policy question that I don't think we've heard the last of.
It's also complicated because it seems like, as you said, he's very involved in Mexican Fiesta. He's a professor. Like, it's like, do you kick someone out of a position? Like, do you kick someone who's a good person to be involved because they move out? I don't know.
Yes.
Like, because on paper, I am a big fan of. I think it was a bad thing to be able to have as many of our police not living in Milwaukee and not it being part of the community that they are charged with the public safety of. I know some people disagree as far as because it comes down to like recruitment and getting people and stuff like that. But so where does it go from here?
Well, it might go nowhere,
Okay.
but also Ruben is due to be reappointed in 2027. Now, I walked through at the top that if he is to be the police association's nominee, he would have to live in the city. So he doesn't qualify for that. Also, a change in Act 12 was the minute your term expires, you're off the board, because we've seen at the DNR, and this was also a problem for the Fire and Police Commission, that people's terms expired and they just kind of lingered around. So the issue will come to a head by September of 2027.
Okay. All right. Where do you want to go next? We let's do one more before we go to break.
We'll just do a real short one that right now the Milwaukee County, we're going to talk a lot more about Milwaukee County later and the healthcare issues there, but the city is moving towards copying a Milwaukee County budgeting practice, one that the county itself has struggled to follow, which is that anytime there's a $100,000 deficit or surplus in any account, more than is budgeted, that entity, be it the budget or not the police department as an example, needs to come tell the Common Council. And the Common Council, I assume in a lot of those cases, are just going to be like, okay. But in other cases, they're probably going to start asking a lot of questions or see dollar signs that they can spend. The city is now copying that under Peter Burgelis, who was a county supervisor turned alderman.
That seems like a good idea. It's like either $100,000 over or under. You're like, where's the math error here?
Yes, I think what we'll find out is there's going to be a lot of reporting because like a department like DPW that has hundreds of employees is probably often shifting in the middle of the year. It seems like they're in one spot, and by the end of the year, they end up right on that number.
Interesting. All right. He is Jeremy Janine, president of Urban Milwaukee. We have lots to get to, especially I want to start with everything that's happening with the Wisconsin Center District and Marty Brooks and the pinching of butts. That's a tease for you. So we will get there with Jeremy Janine. I am Kristin Brey, and we'll be right back.
The Milwaukee Weight Loss Program has been able to change the lives of thousands of people with this incredible metabolic reset program. We know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day with no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no counting points or calories, no drugs, no surgery, and no injections with the risk of serious side effects. There's no better time than now to give yourself the gift of a new you in this new year. Schedule your free consultation now by visiting MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
Hey, it's WTMJ Steve Scafidi from Milwaukee Weight Loss and MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Many patients just like me, because in 2025, I lost 45 pounds. Yes, 45 pounds. And here's the cool thing. I kept that weight off. Many patients, though, lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two. Call right now for your free weight loss consultation. Easy. 262-449-1180. Here's the number, 262-449-1180, or go online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Don't wait. Call today or go online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
Buy one pizza today, get a second pizza free at the Amazing Mineshaft restaurant in Hartford and in Oshkosh. Don't cook, don't even think about it. You don't need to clean up either. Call, order, and pick up shortly or just walk in for your free Thursday pizza, MineShaftRestaurant.com.
Half of American parents cannot afford diapers. This is WTMJ's Kristin Brey. This spring, WTMJ and the Milwaukee Diaper Mission are teaming up to change that. Join me for WTMJ Cares, Bowling for Babies, where we will raise funds for Milwaukee Diaper Mission. Join us March 7th at Village Bowl in Menominee Falls, where you can bowl with your favorite WTMJ hosts. Text BABY to the WTMJ Talk and Text line 855-616-1620 to get more information on how you can be part of our latest WTMJ Cares event. Welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristin Brey, talking to President of Vermin Milwaukee, Jeremy Janine. All right, so let's start with the incident, because I know that there's been do we want to wait for the police report to come out? But from what I understand, as I've been reading this, there is a Marty Brooks, who is the CEO of the Wisconsin Center District.
Which is a public employee.
Yes, and separate from the conversations that have been happening about what do we do with the Miller High Life Theater and needing this bigger hotel, totally separate from that, which we will come back to, is a story that there was some kind of exchange at I think it was a fundraiser?
Yes.
That he touched Jose Perez inappropriately. And
is alleged to have.
Is alleged to have. And now there is reporters like you, Mary Spicuzza, everyone's waiting for a police report to come out of what was all happened. So this story is so weird to me. So what do we know?
I'll walk backwards, and I suspect Mary has much of the same story.
Okay. Well, she didn't want to talk about it. When she was here on Monday, she's like, we want to wait for the police report to come out and talk about it. But there's a certain amount that has been published across different Milwaukee media outlets. So what do we know?
Yeah, I will talk about kind of the journalism process.
Okay.
And because we don't know a lot about exactly what happened. And we will know more next week because the police report is due, at least the police department tells me. I get my copy on Tuesday. I assume everyone else gets theirs that same time. Mid-December, early December, I get a tip that at this fundraiser for David Crowley for governor, and I'm just saying that so you have some context, it was at Mo's A Place for Steak. None of those people are alleged to have done anything untoward. That there was an incident involving Marty Brooks and Jose Perez, and that there was a police report filed. So, logical reporter thing, you go request the police report. It now seems, based on the Journal Sentinel's reporting, that they got the same tip. I doubt it was from the same person, but they also requested the police report at the same time. And then the police report didn't come. So neither Urban Milwaukee nor the Journal Sentinel wrote about it. It's what was alleged was a sensitive crime, which was an inappropriate touch. It involved two high-profile people. I don't know that makes it any faster or any slower. There was also the holidays in between. This was early December. But come early January, I was like, well, this is getting kind of weird. Well, where is this report? And then the Wisconsin Center District had a board meeting coming up. And they don't meet that often. Interestingly enough, Jose Perez, the alleged victim of the touch and the person who initiated the police report, is on the board of the Wisconsin Center District. They oversee Marty Brooks. So in a weird way, Jose Perez is Marty Brooks' boss. He's one of 20 bosses Marty Brooks has. That meeting was coming up, and I thought maybe there'd be some reference to it, but all of a sudden news broke from another outlet who had clearly gotten a leak document that was triggered because the board of the Wisconsin Center District prepared a report for its own members saying that we've referred this to the district attorney's office. The district attorney's office, and they use language that doesn't match the district attorney's office. I will say the district attorney's office said they could not advance to charging the incident. Not that they said it didn't happen, just that they weren't going to advance to charging it. And you'll see that same statement from Jeffrey Altenberg in lots of different publications. The Wisconsin Center District said, hey, there was nothing happened. That was essentially the paraphrased words of Jim Cantor, the board chair. And that is disputed by the district attorney's office statement. Marty Brooks says through an attorney denied all these charges all along when it became public last week. So now we have the Wisconsin Center District Board meeting in private for 90 minutes in closed session. They met for about an hour, a subcommittee in closed session the day before that. We still don't really know what happened, and I don't think we should rush to judgment until we have what is rumored to be a 30-page police report, which I assume is going to have lots of information. I'm told there's corroborating witnesses of at least what one person's perspective is what happened. But that's coming next week. We're going to have a lot more on it next week. The allegation is that Marty Brooks touched Jose Perez on the butt at a meeting. That's, again, an allegation.
Or at a fundraising event.
At the end of a fundraiser. Thank you for the correction there. That's simply an allegation. Marty Brooks has denied it. We don't know the context of it other than where it was.
And the reason why I think this story is so weird is because it is happening at this, like, simultaneously with this debate that is happening around where to put a 600-room hotel in order for the Wisconsin Center to be more appealing to more conventions that are, we're losing business potentially because we don't have a big enough hotel to host a massive convention, basically. And so I'll let you, let's come back and talk about that. Because that's what I find really weird is this thing that is happening that is odd as far as this police report, but it also involves directly this other drama that impacts the city. And is it just a coincidence that they're happening at the same time?
Maybe. It might just be the timing of the board meeting and how the leak happened.
All right. So we'll get out to the Wisconsin Center District stuff after this with Jeremy Janine on Point Taken.
Say I love you with the gift of music this Valentine's Day weekend as the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra welcomes Grammy-nominated vocalist Steve Lipia for a Simply Swingin' Valentine February 13th through the 15th at the Bradley Symphony Center. Don't wait for Cupid to do all the work. You can reserve your seats now by calling 414-291-7605 or visit mso.org. Enjoy a most romantic date night as Steve Lipia and the MSO serve up a mix of jazzy songs and arrangements made popular by the likes of Nat King Cole, Tony Bennett, and Frank Sinatra. You and your date are sure to go home humming and whistling tune after memorable tune from the Great American Songbook. A Simply Swinging Valentine runs February 13th through the 15th only, so call the box office now for tickets and more information. The number again is 414-291-7605 or online at mso.org.
3 generations ago, it was about doing one thing and doing it right.
Hardwood, tile, carpet, floors that had to last because our name, Adair, was on them. Over time, homeowners asked us to do more. Kitchens, bathrooms, full remodels. And so our name changed to Adair Floors and Remodeling.
But flooring has always been the foundation, literally.
And it's something the next generation already understands.
Hi, I'm Ava. Hi, I'm Quinn. My dad does floors.
From hardwood and luxury vinyl plank to tile and carpet, we handle selection, layout, and professional installation.
And because we also remodel homes, we know how flooring works with everything else. Transitions, finishes, and long-term durability.
When you hire Adair, you're getting experience you can stand on and people who will be here for decades to come.
Call my dad. Bye-bye.
Adair Floors and Remodeling. Built on flooring, trusted for remodels. 3 generations, 1 standard. Call us at 414-761-3660 for your free flooring estimate.
All types of injury lawyers advertise. Cartoon lawyers, bobblehead lawyers, and folks chasing ambulances with text messages. Our clients don't want or need such lawyers. our clients know, like, and trust that Pasternak and Zergabel will help in their time of need. I'm Frank Pasternak of Pasternak and Zergabel. Jeff Zergabel and I are excellent personal injury lawyers in our community. If you need help after an injury, go to Pasternak and Zergabel at injurywisconsin.com. That's injurywisconsin.com.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi. Have you listened to WTMJ Outdoors yet? Well, what are you waiting for? Every Saturday at 2 right here on 620 WTMJ. Stories of the outdoors in Wisconsin and beyond as we celebrate everything in recreation. This week we're talking ATV, UTVs in Wisconsin, a growing sport. And a great organization, Wisconsin Hero Outdoors, better known as WHO, helping veterans get back to the outdoors in Wisconsin.
It's WTMJ Outdoors, presented by Outdoor Living Unlimited.
This is Point Taken. I am Kristin Brey talking to President of Urban Milwaukee, Jeremy Janine. All right, so what is happening now with the convention, hotel, theater, demolition plan? Everything I've read this week is that I haven't heard from a lot of people who are like, yes, let's do this.
Just to set the stage, and because you hinted that these things might be what we talked about in the last second with the alleged touch, might be connected to this. I think the only way they're connected, my read of the situation, is because this report, which was commissioned back in May, $145,000 report, was due to come out on January 30th, and that was just also the next
Just
board
happened
meeting.
to be when the board meetings are happening when we're talking about all of these things.
If the board met more frequently, these issues probably wouldn't appear connected. But what you have is Hunden Partners, which is kind of a convention industry firm that does lots of studies. They've done them in Madison and many other cities. They looked at kind of what they call the highest and best use of a number of different sites around the convention center, the expanded Baird Center. And this is something then Alderman Michael Murphy warned would happen back in 2022 is the minute the convention center is finished, the expansion, there's going to be talk of a convention hotel. And their report of the highest and best use said, yes, a convention hotel would make sense. In fact, here's this data. It shows Milwaukee lost out on 330,000 room nights. So hotel room nights, divide that up by days and whatever, number of hotel rooms. And that 20% of that loss was because you have the convention space to meet these convention needs, but you don't have the hotel space. And part of that's the quality of the hotel space, the proximity to the convention center, that Milwaukee is severely underrepresented in the terms of a high-end hotel being connected to the convention center. So the Hilton's there, but maybe it's not high-end enough. It's, I believe, a 3-star hotel or a low 4-star hotel. The thought was, let's get a bigger $600 or $700 room hotel. That's what Hunden proposed. We talked a lot in several different weeks about could it go on the Milwaukee Arena site, the UW Milwaukee Panther Arena site, or the High Life Theater. It seemed less likely to go on the High Life Theater. Then a lot of opposition publicly emerged, and what do you know? The report says, hey, don't put it on the Panther Arena site, put it on the High Life Theater site, demolish that building. That's where the report ended up. It said there could be housing in a second phase. Then we got to actually presenting the report last Friday, and the two hotel operators on the board poo-pooed it. Robert Bauman said there's lots of questions about it. And now we have Gary Witt, the head of the Pabst Theater Group, saying that the report is flawed because it compares the High
Gary
Life.
Witt's very, very vocal on this.
Yes, and you should read his quotes, and you can search any coverage of this, and he appears almost everywhere on it. Prefer you do it on Urban Milwaukee, but all over the place. That the report makes all these assumptions that, hey, the High Life Theater, its business is only going to get worse because this new Landmark Credit Union live venue is opening. But Gary Witt's like, hey, those venues aren't competing for the same shows. Jerry Seinfeld's not going to go from a 5,000-seat seated auditorium to play at a 3,000 or 4,000 person capacity standing room venue. Like, it's just apples to oranges. He's pointing at the report's flawed. Bob Bauman's pointing at that the report lists UW Whitewater in northern Chicago, and it puts the convention center in Oak Creek when it's analyzing land use around the convention center. So he's like, I don't know that we got a quality job. I don't know that a human wrote this. And then Greg Marcus and Mark Flaherty. Greg Marcus, of course, runs the Marcus Corporation. Mark Flaherty runs Wave Holdings. That's Milwaukee Marriott, the Westin, number of hotels. They have both come out and said that they don't think the assumptions in the plan that if you build this new hotel, it's going to lift the tide of everyone else, lift the boats of everyone else, because the report makes the assumption that you build this new hotel, you get more convention business, so all the other hotels won't be losers. They will, in fact, be winners because there'll be more conventions. Mark Flaherty's one-word answer to me, if you believe that, was no. Both Greg Marcus and Mark Flaherty have said there's not a market for this in Milwaukee. Marcus has signaled that because they've tried to close the part of the Hilton Milwaukee Hotel. They've now rebranded it, I believe, as the Mark, if I remember the name off the top of my head. So the question then becomes, well, should the city subsidize this? And the two hotel operators on the board are clearly indicating no, they don't want a subsidized competitor because it might cost $40, $50 million minimum of public money to build what could be a $500 million hotel.
Yeah. So it seems like it's probably not going anywhere?
As of today, it seems like it has a very difficult path forward. That all could change in 3 years. Something could happen. But as of right now.
Is there any, I think about the Hyatt that's down there. That's close. I mean, it's not connected.
It is connected. It's directly.
So it is connected. And the Hyatt is old. And so is there any appetite, instead of like tearing down a different building that has a different use right now, like tearing down an existing hotel and rebuilding a better hotel?
Well, I think the hotels still get enough use. The argument that Robert Bauman and many people in the public have now made is there's a lot of parking lots near the convention center. There's also a lot
of parking lots.
Why are you tearing down a building? Why you could just put it on one of those lots? The city even owns a site at 4th in Wisconsin, Val Phillips in Wisconsin. They've tried to get a hotel on. So it's faces an uphill battle.
All right. News is next. More with Jamie Janine after this.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. President Trump spoke at the National Prayer Breakfast in Washington earlier today. He also commented on the FBI raid in Fulton County, Georgia, and seizure of 2020 election ballots, defending the head of the DNI participating in the search.
He said that it was the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, who insisted that the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, be there at that raid at the Fulton County Elections Office.
She went in at Pam's insistence. She went in and she looked at votes that want to be checked out from Georgia.
Just earlier this week, we had learned that Tulsi Gabbard had sent a letter to Democrats in the Senate saying that she was there in Fulton County at the request of the president.
ABC's Karen Travers. Experts from the FBI on the ground in Arizona to help local and state authorities search for Nancy Guthrie. The mother of Today anchor Savannah Guthrie has been missing since the weekend. Police believe she was kidnapped from her home. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:31. I'm Neil Doyle. With the NBA trade deadline just hours away, sources telling ESPN's Shams Charania the Milwaukee Bucks have indicated to teams that they are keeping Giannis Antetokounmpo through the trade deadline and will start making some other deals. Well, they have made a trade, the Bucks agreeing to send Cole Anthony and Amir Coffey to the Phoenix Suns, in return getting Nick Richards and former Wisconsin Badger Nigel Hayes-Davis. In Kenosha, a teenager dead, 2 others injured after a shooting. It happened last night around 8 o'clock near 60th Street and 6th Avenue. Authorities say a 16-year-old boy was shot and died at the scene. The Kenosha Unified School District confirming he was a student at Bradford High School. 2 students from Indian Trail High School were also injured, one critically. Police have arrested a 16-year-old boy and a 19-year-old man. Here in Milwaukee, 1 person dead as well, a shooting that happened near the Garden Homes neighborhood. That was last night near 25th and Capitol. A 29-year-old victim dying in that incident. Police say they're still searching for a shooter. Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything still in the red. The Dow was off 314 points at 49,186. The NASDAQ is down about 190 at 22,714. And the S&P 500 off about 47 at 6,830. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Let's take a look at the roads, your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. We've been dealing with that issue, 41 southbound right near Capitol Drive. There was a crash. 2 left lanes were blocked. Looks like they have gotten that vehicle out of the way. According to WISDOT, they might see 1 emergency crew kind of sitting out there. Says they are doing some repairs now to where some of that crash was, but the delays have improved. You're not really backing up, so moving along much better there in that area. 43 southbound, we had those issues as well. That is cleared up nicely. So looking across the system, everything is moving along. That light snow has tapered off, so we should see just cloudy conditions throughout the rest of the afternoon, a high around 32 degrees. But then tonight, we'll see that chance of snow return, maybe a little wintry mix as well, a low down to 25. Snow showers will be possible on Friday, partly cloudy skies, highs in the mid-30s. And then into the weekend, mostly sunny Saturday, but colder with a high near 20. Could maybe see some snow early Sunday, otherwise cloudy conditions with highs in the low 30s. Right now, it is 26 degrees in Green Bay. We're sitting at 27 in Racine, and it's 27 degrees in Milwaukee. I'm Neil Doyle, Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:34.
Before you go looking for an area rug that you'll have to settle for because you think that the one you really want will be out of your budget, come to Design Exchange, where you'll find a formidable selection of Oriental, Persian, and other wool area rug choices at 25 to 70% off retail. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor on consignment at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
If you're trying to find really good, high-end, distinctive furniture, the kind they just don't make anymore, then come to Design Exchange. But you better get here quickly, because the best furniture we take in on consignment doesn't usually last long. It may be vintage, it may have once been out of your range, but now you'll find it's priced right. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value.
Design Exchange.
Your European experts at Fox World Travel are ramping up and busy as ever. When you want to see more of Europe, Princess Cruises delivers. With Princess Cruises and Fox World Travel, explore iconic Mediterranean ports by day, then relax in classic comfort by night. From immersive shore excursions to destination-inspired dining, every moment is designed to feel effortless. Ready to set sail on your Mediterranean adventure? Call 866-GO-FOX-GO or visit foxworldtravel.com to book your European getaway.
Screaming Sicilian, more is amore. Screaming Sicilian, more is amore. Amore, pepperoni, amore, mozzarella, amore. Screaming Sicilian, screaming Sicilian.
Screamin' Sicilian frozen pizza. More toppings, more flavor. More is amore.
Welcome back to Point Taken.
Kristin, we're not hearing you. Jaslyn is furiously plugging stuff in. I'll fire away with what we were going to talk about, which is that there are red flags abounding at the Milwaukee County Courthouse involving a health insurance contract. And the biggest thing is that Milwaukee County supervisors learned in late January in a story broken by Graham Kilmer for us at Urban Milwaukee that their health insurance agreement, the biggest contract they probably have, expired.
Yeah, so I don't understand how this even happens. As far so the health insurance that covers all the Milwaukee County employees just lapsed, and so was there any break in coverage for the employees?
Well, it turns out there wasn't a lapse immediately because United Healthcare, who had the previous contract, said, okay, we'll keep going as long as you give us the renewal. But then this contract got turned in that the county's audit director for the comptroller was flagging with issues, that I believe the corporation council had some issues, and the county board had all kinds of concerns about it, that this ordinance was not followed.
Renewal?
Yeah, the renewal. And they're really between a rock and a hard place because they can't say, no, let's rebid the whole thing, because then United Healthcare, who has all the leverage in the world right now because Milwaukee County's current agreement is expired, can be like, yeah, you don't have health insurance anymore. And so talking to several people that are familiar with buying health insurance, they've all been like, this is kind of like the most important thing. And it turns out there was someone who it was their entire job, and now that person doesn't have a job.
Have we heard from that person? I mean, we can say the name. It's Tony Mays.
Tony Mays, correct.
And so what has he given any kind of statement as far as how something like this happened?
There were I don't think we've gotten the clear answer yet. We have records requests in to try and understand more what might have happened behind the scenes involving different people. Like we had the audit director saying that they had concerns back in September and then they just didn't hear back and kind of let it go. And we don't know, like, well, did they raise it up the flagpole somewhere else? And so we don't know the answer to that yet. Mays presented this, and then by the time it came back around again and for an emergency meeting on Monday, was terminated by David Crowley, because all this comes with the context that David Crowley is the top executive for Milwaukee County, and David Crowley is also trying to be the top executive for Wisconsin running for governor, and this certainly does not look good.
Well, and that's the thing, and I say this, I like David Crowley a lot as a person, but this isn't a unique situation. Like, this sounds different but similar to the surprise of the transit system all of a sudden having a lot of issues. And so it's like these different departments that feed into him, and having more understanding of what is the line of communication between these different departments to the executive's office, and how much is he supposed to know, and how much is this a normal amount to be all of a sudden surprised and kind of hoodwinked by. Because I know this was probably one of the first elbows I feel like we've seen thrown between Democratic candidates this week of Sarah Rodriguez's campaign. I think she said publicly, like she was at a press conference or something, criticized Crowley for this very openly. Crowley's campaign kind of hit back at her saying, well, you've never run a government, something a little snarky. And, which is fine. Like, this is what we should expect. There's real criticism of each other's campaigns. But I guess, like, how much does this fall to his, like, as someone who reports on government, like, how much is this something that you're like, yeah, like, he should have known that this was happening?
We don't have the full picture yet. We have the problem. What we learned, and similar, you referenced the MCTS issue with their surprise $10 million budget deficit. What we learned through open records requests there is there was a series of employees basically coordinating to keep it from coming public and to keep it essentially from going the whole way to the county executive. Now, should the county executive have more knowledge of what's happening down at departments? Yes, but there also was a coordinated effort to have it not go public in that case. So the question here is, well, was this one or two rogue employees just so badly failing at their jobs? Or was this something that everyone knew as a problem and just was hoping, oh, we'll renew this contract and the problem will go away?
So what happens now?
Well, as we speak right now, the county board is theoretically voting on approving the new $450 million contract, although there were concerns about audit language in that and serious concerns about a legitimate failing on following county ordinances on how requests for proposals to bid this type of work are supposed to play out.
Okay. All right. Well, then going from there, was that this week? Or was it last week that Adam Purcell had to step down from or resign from his position?
That was the last week.
All right. But we're going to talk about it today because we have not been able to talk about it yet. So when we come back, the Office of Safety and Wellness and Safety?
Community Wellness and Safety.
Community Wellness and Safety. Adam Purcell has resigned, and wrapping our head around, again, miscommunication, misunderstanding of what the law was, of why he got the job in the first place. So we will talk about that with Jeremy Janine. I am Kristin Brey, and this is Point Taken.
What does meaningful giving really look like? Join Annex Wealth Management for our Women in Wealth series, Giving from the Heart, where purpose meets tax planning, on February 19th in Brookfield. Enjoy dinner, refreshments, and an engaging evening on giving with intention. Hear from a local panel of nonprofit leaders as they explore today's philanthropic trends, smart charitable strategies, and how your giving can reflect your values and legacy.
Hi, I'm Maggie Tate-Techman, Executive Director at Haws. I hope to see you on February 19th. Reserve your spot on the events page at annexwealth.com.
Anglers, looking to up your game on Lake Michigan? Join MW Marine in Hales Corners for a free fishing seminar this Saturday at 11 a.m. Meet Tyler Schrader, Ranger and Mercury Pro, as he gives an introduction to small boat Lake Michigan trolling. Perfect for weekend fishermen. No reservations needed, just show up. Plus, check out all the new boats on display. That's this Saturday at 11 a.m. at MW Marine in Hales Corners.
When I shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, every time I come in, it's like a whole new store.
It's because new inventory's arriving daily. All kinds of everything. And let me tell you, thrift store prices make buying easy. And helping others at the same time, that's icing on the cake. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
With an ever-changing inventory, you never know what great bargains you're going to be able to find at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. It makes shopping fun because the best finds are the ones you had no idea you'd even come across. And when they're at thrift store prices, it feels good. And it feels even better to know you're helping us help others. Shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Enjoy a free dinner on Valentine's Day at the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club. Savor a 10-ounce prime rib with a 5-ounce lobster tail and all the sides for $74.99 for 2 dinners. Call and reserve your free Valentine's Day dinner today.
This is Point Taken. I am Kristin Brey, talking to Jeremy Janine for the rest of the hour. All right, so this happened last week. We've not talked about it on this show, though. Adam Purcell, who had been appointed by... There was a lot of drama over his appointment in the first place because he kind of swooped in after there was other candidates who were considered for to run the Office of Community Wellness and Safety.
Which is long, yes, the long known as the Office of Violence Prevention, which is much easier to say.
And, you know, I know Adam personally. He is a great human. He has done a lot of work as far as recidivism and reintegrating ex-felons back into society. And, like, he is a really good human being. And I think, you know, Judge Derek Mosley is going to be on the show tomorrow. He also, like, everyone I know who knows Adam vouches for how good of a person he is and like what his past experience would have brought to that role. His past experience being a murder conviction that he served time for. So how did it happen that we knew this on paper but thought we could get around the rule that people who head departments can't have a felony record?
So the important caveat there, when Adam Purcell was hired, and again, you talked about it, he was hired in this weird circumstance in August where there were 3 finalists, and then Mayor Cavalier Johnson, who gets to choose the person, said, nah, I'm going to go with this guy that didn't apply for the job that everyone's been talking about.
Unconventional pick.
Yes, I'm going to take him. Surprise. And Adam Purcell got a lot of praise. He was transparent that very day that my lived experience is I made the worst mistake of my life when I was 15 years old. I've served time. Fire Chief Aaron Lipsky was very poignant in pointing out, like, he was served a sentence, and at some point we have to quit punishing people forever. The justice is handed down in the courtroom, and he has satisfied all those conditions. Now, as you who know him personally can say, he's probably satisfied them and more because he's now working so much in rehabilitating
what he has done
people.
for the community is much more than most of us ever do.
He's dedicated his life to it. So he was hired in August, and this will get back to the budget veto issue we talked about. The Common Council got really frustrated when they discovered that the mayor could nominate someone for an office, which isn't a department, critical distinction there, an office within the Department of Administration, and the Common Council had no oversight of that. That person just gets put into that slot because it's not a cabinet appointment to Common Council confirmation. So what the council did during the budget, and the mayor vetoed, was to move the Office of Community Wellness and Safety and I can't remember the name, but essentially we'll call it, paraphrase it as the DEI office, into their own
We still have that?
departments. It's grant
it was
funded.
illegal now.
It still exists.
All right, it's just a joke.
To move those two offices out of the Department of Administration to be essentially cabinet level standalone departments. Now, the Department of Administration at the time argued this is a bad idea because there's all kinds of logistical things that when this small office is located within our bigger department, they get access to resources like printers and marketing staff and all these back of house functions. And now that becomes way more complicated when they're a department. No one at the time argued that, well, there's this buried provision in the state constitution that says if you're a felon, you can't hold, and I'm using air quotes, a public office, which isn't just an elected official, but all cabinet members of a municipal government. So surprise, city attorney starts looking into this in January when the budget goes into effect, and completely unexpected to everyone involved, Adam Purcell doesn't qualify for this. And there's a real question of can he be pardoned even from his crime so that he could qualify.
So just the timeline of this, because I think Mayor Johnson, in the immediate understanding of this, the situation, was like, well, why did you appoint him if he couldn't have the job? And it sounds like when that job was inside of a department, he could have that job originally.
Correct.
It was the council's continued, I'll say it, power struggle with the mayor that changed what the role was and the position and how, the hierarchy of the role, that then all of a sudden he was not allowed to have that role anymore.
Incorrect. And the important thing to note is on both sides, both the mayor's side and the common council side, neither side knew of this issue at the time that they acted, whether it was to override the veto or make the veto. Because I'm pretty confident that would have changed the discussion.
So now we're back to the drawing board on finding someone to run this office.
Yes, with the caveat now that the common council will get to confirm that person.
Great.
So that's what's coming. The city also has to hire its new equity officer yet because Bernadette Caranja resigned last year. So that is also an open department seat that awaits in a full-time nominee.
Got it. All right, let's take one more break. And when we come back, there is new news as far as Milwaukee connections to Epstein files. So we will end the show on that. How great. Jeremy Janine, Kristin, Brey, stay with us.
Vince Vitrano for Hunt's Flooring in Greenfield. You should see what our new floors look like. And you can. But let's talk about you first. Whether you want to tighten things up before selling your house or you want to be more comfortable in your forever home, start at Hunt's Flooring. Our new hardwood floors are in. We could not be happier that we chose local, family-owned Hunt's Flooring. Text FLOOR to 855-616-1620 and I'll send you the before and after pics. Hunt's is ready for your project right now. Tell them Vinny sent you. Highway 100 in Greenfield, huntsflooring.com.
It's Tuesday in Milwaukee. I've worn a parka, crop top, and rain poncho since breakfast.
Our weather has commitment issues, Tracy. It's bipolar with a side of, are you kidding me?
If your heating and cooling system is also confused, you're in luck.
At Capital, we're giving you year-round comfort for the price of one season. Buy a furnace, we'll give you an AC for free.
You heard him. Turn that brr into ah and tell that Milwaukee weather to move on.
Call CapitalCares.com.
Say I love you with the gift of music this Valentine's Day weekend as the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra welcomes Grammy-nominated vocalist Steve Lippia for a Simply Swingin' Valentine February 13th through the 15th at the Bradley Symphony Center. Don't wait for Cupid to do all the work. You can reserve your seats now by calling 414-291-7605 or visit mso.org. Enjoy a most romantic date night as Steve Lippia and the MSO serve up a mix of jazzy songs and arrangements made popular by the likes of Nat King Cole, Tony Bennett, and Frank Sinatra. You and your date are sure to go home humming and whistling tune after memorable tune from the Great American Songbook. A Simply Swingin' Valentine runs February 13th through the 15th only, so call the box office now for tickets and more information. The number again is 414-291-7605 or online at mso.org.
When your car or truck needs service, you should take it to a specialist. I'm Deb Cruz, president of the Auto Dealers Association of Mega Milwaukee. Adam member new car dealers have factory warranted parts, the latest diagnostic equipment, and certified manufacturer technicians. Plus, their prices are low or lower than independent shops, even on routine things like oil changes and tire service. Knowing all that, why would you ever consider going anywhere other than an Adam member dealer?
Start your Milwaukee weight loss program now to lose weight fast. 20 to 30 pounds. How about a month or two? Call for your free weight loss consultation. 262-449-1180. That's 262-449-1180. Or online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
Tune in to Wisconsin's Midday News with Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
From the WTMJ Breaking Newsroom, the nation's border czar says he's working with leaders in Minnesota as he takes over immigrant enforcement operations in the state.
Bringing you the latest in news, sports, traffic, and weather.
After Wisconsin's first measles case of the year in Waukesha County, more than 50 people are now under quarantine for possible exposure.
Every weekday from noon until 3 p.m. Only on WTMJ. WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Just a couple minutes left with Jeremy Janine of Urban Milwaukee. I'll do the Steve thing. Where's your tchotchke store?
755 North Milwaukee Street, corner of Milwaukee and Mason, kitty corner from Hotel Metro. We'd love to see you because January and February are not great months for retail.
Slow months, but yeah, we're working on our live broadcast from there someday. All right, new news as far as Milwaukee connections to the Epstein files or whatever, the Epstein dump.
Yeah, there's the million plus documents that were released. You can search them on the U.S. Department of Justice website, and so that's made all kinds of interesting things become public, including Elon Musk and Reid Hoffman. But there is a Milwaukee connection. Peter Mahler, the owner of a real estate firm in town, a real estate agency, Mahler Sotheby's International Realty. He also owns Mahler Clean, and his connection to Jeffrey Epstein comes from Mahler Private Staffing, which he boasts has more than 1,000 clients, high-end clients. In 2013, after Epstein was already convicted of certain sex crimes, Mahler was helping Epstein find assistance. The relationship ended badly, I guess, after a couple months where Mahler was unpaid for some work. But there are some interesting emails. Michael Horn broke the story for us for Urban Milwaukee. He appears 393 times. Now, the weird thing when you search the Department of Justice database, if you hit that search button again with the same terms, it might give you a slightly different number. Just know that if you're ever looking at stuff in there. But there's interesting comments in emails. They're all short. One thing that stuck out to me was the number of typos that appear in them.
On which side? Because it does seem like some of the things I've seen is like, was Jeffrey Epstein illiterate? Like he's like cannot write a full sentence.
Both sides. And part of that was smartphones just weren't as good then. But yes, there are lots of typos. Good evening, Mr. Epstein. He's describing candidate here. Education, breading, which we assume is a typo, elite work experience, NYC-based, art, presents well, smart. In another email, he describes a candidate as Asian and competent with a service heart. I don't know what a service heart is. But Epstein was repeatedly unimpressed by these candidates, despite their strange qualifications signaled out in emails, and terminated the relationship in part because many of his interviews, his Skype interviews, did not go well with these candidates. And that was the end of the relationship. But Mahler has not responded. The Journal-Sentinel has also reported on this. There, you can go read these emails again yourself. He's not accused of any crime.
Yeah, he's just...
That should be very clear. But it is clear he had a short business relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, trying to find staff assistants.
All right. So that's the only one so far that we've seen as far as Milwaukee connection?
That's the only clear one. There is, and because it's disgusting, I won't discuss it at length on air. There's allegations of disposing of a body in Lake Michigan from the Michigan side. You can read about that if you want. Otherwise, it has been reported on in Michigan previously.
Got it. All right. I wish we had a happier way to end it, but now we got to go.
It's getting warmer outside.
It is getting warmer. The days are getting longer. The days are getting warmer. Thank God. Jeremy Janine, we will see you next Thursday. Thank you as always. And we will be back tomorrow with Joe and Bill for 90 minutes. Judge Derek Mosley will be here, so it's going to be a great show. News is next.
There's a lot of noise coming out of Washington these days, but one thing retirees in Wisconsin can't afford to ignore is the new Big Beautiful Bill. Sounds harmless, right? But here's the truth. The changes buried in this bill could have a